To Get Lost in a Book by Fatima Islam. There's a dryness in my throat and I wet my lips nervously. I simply had to ask if Mom could drive me to the library. Not hard at all. Still, the butterflies in my stomach felt more like a swarm of bees. I tentatively placed a hand on her shoulder and asked the question with the most pleading voice I could muster. She gave me the look of a slightly raised brow and a stern mouth. I shrank but didn't let up. Please, please, Amul. I watched in disbelief as her small head bobbed downwards in a slight but unmistakable motion. That was a nod. Oh Lord, she had said yes. Next thing I knew, I was buckling my seatbelt in the passenger seat with an oversized backpack beside my worn sneakers. I felt giddy and like a child in her long-awaited journey to the park. I suppose that was more or less true, as the library was my special park. The pale burgundy hue of the library came into view, and I sat upright. I sent a beaming grin at Mom and hiked the backpack onto my shoulders. Even before the car came to a full stop, I was swinging the door open, ready to greet today's security guard and fill my backpack with books. After going to the library, I physically could not look away from the array of literature. After a brief debate on which to read first and last, I studied the display before me. Like always, I had lined the books onto my desk neatly in the exact order they would be read. I decided to complete the Ash Princess series first, by Laura Sebastian, then continue to a long-awaited Red Queen literary series, and so on. I smiled to myself again, and without further ado, I gently pulled Ember Queen out of the row and practically skipped to my bed to begin reading. An unspecified amount of time later. I honestly couldn't tell how much time had flown by. The words flew from the pages into my head, and I flipped the pages like a reflex. I assumed it had been well over a few hours. My eyes scanned the pages over and over, my teeth sank into my lips, and the world became the story. I had barely registered what had happened until I found myself containing a yelp at the knock on my door. Habitually, my sister welcomed herself in with narrowed cocoa-brown eyes. She tilted her head towards the clock in my bedroom, indicating that it was way past time for me to stop reading. Sorry, I murmured, and put my bookmark into place. I cursed myself for not finishing the chapter, and closed the book with deep regret. The sun had been flooding the room with light when I had started reading. Now, a deep indigo colored the sky, and my own reflection bounced off the windows. I sincerely hadn't noticed the daylight leave my grasp, but I doubted my sister would believe that. Judging by the stern lines in her brow and the slight frown on her lips, I confirmed my suspicion. Oh dear, I was most likely in for a talk about time management. Still, being able to lose myself to books felt amazing. Definitely the highlight of my days. I couldn't help but smile as I walked downstairs to give my apologies.